I have this question that I do throw out on podcast episodes to some guests, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Is like, just because you brought up the idea of bringing engineers into meetings, and sometimes engineers are really happy to come into meetings, and sometimes the engineering management is like, don't bring these engineers into meetings. They need to be writing code. Don't distract them with sales things. Do you think that it would be beneficial to the business if engineers got commission or some sort of something like that when deals close? And I don't mean the same way a rep does or an SE does, but some sort of incentive for the engineers to want to be more supportive of deals as they happen.
A lot of people have a variable component to their compensation. For sales reps, it's really a large part of their compensation. It's commission. For sales engineers, it's less than a sales rep, but it's a lot more than someone who works in HR. And for HR, the variable compensation is probably not going to. It's probably might be has something to do with HR metrics, or maybe it has something to do with just general company performance. So I don't think it's crazy to have a piece of an engineer's variable comp tied to success, but I think that's got to be pretty organization specific. Sometimes it doesn't make sense for engineers. I mean, every person is really different. I've found some engineers who would not say that they're customer facing, and then you just get them to open up and they are so good with customers, and then they realize that they don't hate having the occasional customer meeting. And next thing you know, you have an engineer who, sure, of their 40 hours a week, 37 of them are internal facing, but you get them on 1 to 2 meetings a week. They actually really like it. If you prep them, um, they don't want to be the typical engineer doesn't want to be set up in a space where they're sort of set up to fail. Like all of a sudden they're hit with product questions they can't answer. So with good prep, and you tell them like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't need to answer that question, or you know, like they're excited about it. So to go back to your question, I don't think it makes sense to just start putting commission bonuses on every engineer out there. But I think you find as a company that there's an engineer on your team who's actually pretty good in front of customers, like, there's nothing wrong with it. Or maybe just a spot bonus, even. Like, I don't think you want to change what they're compensated on. You want to compensate them on for building great software. But also, it's like you're an engineer, but you're also an employee of the company. And you working here, like, you're not going to be working here if the company's not successful, because then you'll leave. And so part of the company being successful is getting deals. And so if you can do that, that's great. And I think a spot bonus or something like that is great.
I feel like it also helps break down that barrier or that perception in engineering that sales equals bad, right? I encounter that a lot. And I think doing that and then giving them like a little spot bonus or something, and you know, they'll probably tell their engineering colleagues, I would think. And like the more good experiences they have in sales calls, it would start to become this momentum thing, I think.
Well, I'm just wondering how a company could systematize such an idea and really if it's like, oh, it's a spot bonus, it's a one-off thing, someone has to nominate you for it. It's like this thing, but you're building a business, you want to build a program that it's repeatable and like everybody knows how it works. And like you were talking about earlier, just managing expectations. Like, this is what I need. We have time to plan. Can you do this and be successful? That's an expectation management game. How could you, I mean, you're building a business, right? We're going to talk about it in a little bit. I don't want to go there just on this idea of like, now you're an entrepreneur, like starting a company. How are you going to think about how engineering and sales like go together to win a business, to win a deal?
I mean, like at a small company, right? I've made it clear to everyone on our team, like, consider me part of the engineering team. Like, meaning I want to be playing with the product because I want to tell you what a non-engineer is going to mess with, like, is going to mess up, or maybe someone who's not thinking about it the way you are. And same, I've already set everyone's expectation. Like, expect that once we start getting, more ramped up with customers, like everyone here will be on customer calls, from time to time. I think in terms of compensation, like, sellers are very wired up to care most about money in terms of,
Yeah, they're coin operated.
yeah, well, okay, that's a little, I wouldn't say I'm coin operated.
They self-describe as being coin operated many part of the time. They're money driven.
That's fair. But I think people just want to know they're making an impact, and they want to be appreciated, and they want to see a company be successful. And so for me, like, what I found is that when I'm working with engineers, of course, everybody loves cash, but just letting them know, like, I had a couple big deals at Grafana, and like I put together some gifts and I send them to the engineer, and then I don't just send them. Then I put a handwritten note with it, and then I'll just get on like a one-on-one Zoom call and just say, hey, I just want you to know exactly the impact you had. So listen, we were on a deep technical call. We were on a deep technical sales cycle with company. We hit a block here. Then we had to come to you. Thank you to your expertise, we were able to overcome that block, build trust with the customer, and get the deal closed. Like, you were incredibly impactful. And I just want you to know, like, I'm super thankful. The company's thankful. Sales management's thankful. Like, we sent you a little gift. That gift is nothing compared to the impact you had. But just know, like, that we're super appreciated, and we hope that we could have you do it again sometime. They'll want to be on the next call.
Maybe the way you systematize it across a company is by having a program where like every rep needs to do that kind of appreciation for an engineer every now and then in a quarter, and that, you know, sales management, like, there's budget approved for it. Everybody should be doing that all the time, and that's part of the process.